Hello and welcome to the Disney Dream Girls podcast. This is show number 199 for Sunday the 4th of March 2018.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young and usually I'm accompanied by my good friend Jane Phipps and we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. But alas, I don't have Jane today. So I called upon one of my good buddies, another fellow Disney podcaster, Curtis Stone, from Geekin on WDW Podcast. Hello there, my lovely.
I'm so glad you called me lovely.
Aww.
I love that. I'm doing awesome. How you doing, Michelle? Good to talk to you. I love talking Disney World with you.
We have such amazing chats, and one day, my friend, we will meet and we will be in a Disney theme park.
I just came back from Disney World. I had a 2-week vacation in January, and I met a lot of my listeners. It was just the best part of my experience down in Disney World this time. So I'd love to meet you. And if I live in Connecticut in the States, so if you ever come through New York or Boston, you gotta let me know.
Unfortunately, I'm flying direct this year, so...
Hey, that's good for you, Michelle.
It's good for me, but I'd miss out on a trip to the northern sector of the USA. But you never know. There's always another year.
Absolutely. So what's going on today?
So today we are going to, in a few moments, pass on the baton to my lovely son, Ciaran, to do some On This Week in Disney History. And then me and you, we're going to have a couple of adult beverages.
Sounds good to me. Maybe something to eat too and hang out in cool lounges.
Absolutely. So let's hear from Ciaran and see what's in the news in the world of Disney.
Hello, my lovelies. It's your boy, Ciaran here, and I'm sorry if I'm sounding a bit quiet right now, but I am in hiding at the moment because of the blasphemous words that I said against the Apple Company last episode. So I apologize for that now, but if I speak louder, then they might find me, and Lord knows what they'll do to me. Okay, so welcome to this day in Disney history. Ward Kimball was born on the 4th of March in 1914. He was one of Disney's 9 old men, and he was a massive railroad enthusiast. He preferred to work on comical characters rather than realistic humans, and he was constantly looking to do things differently. Because of this, Walt Disney called Ward a genius in the book The Story of Walt Disney. Sadly, in 1994, Canadian John Candy died of a heart attack whilst filming. Personally, I loved him in Splash and Uncle Buck. My mother brought me up right with those 80s films, but did you know he voiced a character for Pocahontas? Well, the character was called Red Feather, a turkey, but the powers that be decided the character didn't work, and ultimately the role was replaced with Meeko. On the 5th of March 1983, Journey into Imagination opened, and guests joined along with the Dreamfinder and Figment. When I went, it was Eric Idle, so a later version, but guests still miss this version. On the 10th of March 2009, Disney launches D23 as the official Disney fan club celebrating the wonder and excitement of Disney's stories, characters, songs, and experiences. Whilst basic membership is free now, the good stuff will set you back $79 per year, with about the same in shipping if you are from the UK. Finally, on the 11th of March in 2010, Richard and Robert Sherman receive a window on Main Street, a high honour for Disney legends. Wow, I'm actually surprised about that. There was no Snow White. Oh no, they found me. I'm sorry, I have to go quickly.
Where dreams begin.
So as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we've got Curtis Stone from Geekin on WDW Podcast, and Curtis has just come back from Walt Disney World, and you had a bit of a luxury stay because it's the norm for Americans to go for maybe a week or 4 or 5 days. You were there for, is it about 2 weeks?
Yeah, I was. It was over 2 weeks. The last 3 years, we've been going to Florida for 2 weeks, but my son, Benjamin, was playing baseball for our local college here in Connecticut, and he was there for a week. So we went down to Fort Myers for a week, and then we'd come up to Disney World. So I'm in a pattern of 2 weeks to Florida, but this is the first time over 2 weeks in the parks. It was just amazing. 4 different resorts.
Wow. So which resorts did you manage to stay in?
It kept growing, Michelle. My wife and her friend, Auntie Judy, kept tagging on there. They just were having fun with it. And we did a couple of nights at All-Star Movies.
Mm-hmm.
We did one night at Kidani, at the Animal Kingdom Villas, which was first time staying there. And that was a 2-bedroom DVC room. And then it was my home resort, Bay Lake Tower, for about a week. And then my kids, they're all older. They flew in, and a friend of theirs flew in. Lindsay's on my podcast, has been on there quite often. But anyways, they came down for a week, and we were at the first time at Old Key West in a 2-bedroom. So it was glorious 2 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We've got some experience with adult going now. Of course, we started going when my kids were little. They were 6, 8, and 10 when we started, but we've been going really strong last few years as adults too. So got lots of experience.
Fantastic. Well, if you want to hear about Curtis's travels in Walt Disney World, he is showcasing them with lots of live audio at the moment on his own podcast. You can look anywhere and everywhere for Geeking on WDW Podcast, and you will be most heartily welcomed into the family.
We've got such a wonderful community, and you're a part of that too, Michelle. And you know, when you meet your listeners, I had a couple of meetups down there. It was just glorious. We're going to talk about that. We actually went to a couple of lounges. You know, you meet these people through the internet and you got so much in common, and then you meet each other. It's fantastic. It's my favorite part about the podcasting stuff.
And I think that fits in quite nicely to what we're going to be talking about today, because firstly, the lounges are a brilliant way of getting out of the Florida heat, but mixing and meeting up with different friend groups and just relaxing in a very adult environment where you could get an enjoyable adult beverage. And I was reading a piece on USA Today recently, and they were listing some of their top 10 places of where to get an adult beverage from. And I thought, well, we could start sort of talking about some of the places and then pop in some drinks and food and see where we go, Curtis, if that sounds okay to you.
It's awesome. I put down 10 spots. We'll see how your list, I didn't see your list ahead of time, so we'll see how I fare.
Well, one place for me that I managed to tick off on my list for both Disneyland now and Walt Disney World is I've been both coasts for Trader Sam's Grog Grotto, and in Walt Disney World this is over at the Polynesian Resort. Have you had any libations over there?
Yes, I've got it too, and I've got the mugs to prove it somewhere here. Like the Nautilus is, I got to find a good planter for it. Yeah, that's a fun place. It almost didn't make my list. I couldn't believe it, Michelle. Of course, I love the Polynesian. It's my favorite resort. Yeah, Trader Sam's is a lot of fun. It's not just about the drinks, although they have some really creative ones. Mm-hmm. It's all about the action and the theater going on there.
Totally is, because if you've not yet had the opportunity to visit, some of the signature drinks, bits of the decor come alive, and the cast members are just fantastic. I don't want to go into too much detail because you just have to go. Even if you go in and just get a soft beverage, if you don't want an alcoholic drink, go. It's only a small place, so you may have to wait. So I try to avoid busy times, like on an evening. Maybe pop in mid-afternoon for a tipple to get out of the Florida heat. But for me, a favourite of mine is the Polynesian Punch, which is a lovely drink with some hibiscus grenadine in, and it's really nice and light and fruity and flavoursome, and you can get it in a souvenir sipper cup or not. But let's go to your list. What did you manage to add in on there?
Well, I'll stay there in the Polynesian, because the Tambu Lounge is a huge favorite of ours. And same thing like you're saying, Michelle, this is part of our routine now. We're trying to cut down on the commando, which is going hard in the parks. And, 3 o'clock, that's a good time to go to Trader Sam's, by the way. I think it opens at 4. Get in line there early. It's not as difficult to get in now. It's been open a little while now, but Tambu Lounge is a great place to have. There are some really noticeable, or some of my favorite drinks. And although I'm kind of a beer and scotch guy, when I go to Disney World, I go for the fruity umbrella drinks too. Everybody knows the Lapu Lapu, which is the pineapple, and it is a very nice, it's really cool, and they're pretty reasonable. Another favorite of mine there is the back scratcher, because you take home a back scratcher with you. So
You can never have enough back scratchers, can you?
Exactly. I'm actually asking my wife, where are those two we brought home this time? Because I haven't found them since we unpacked. Another big favorite, and I think this one is on, they have like a drink menu that's universal throughout a lot of the lounges too, Michelle. And one of my favorites is the pina colada. And I like milkshakey. This is kind of like a pina colada kind of thing, but it's got raspberries. And yeah, it's really smooth and creamy, and you wouldn't even know you're having an alcoholic drink. So there's three, and of course it's the Polynesian. I mean, there's not a better atmosphere in all of Disney World, in my opinion. So that's definitely, especially if you're going to Ohana, you got to hit the Tambu Lounge.
Do you want to know my favourite thing from the Tambu Lounge?
Yeah, you got one.
I have. Okay. If you've been to Ohana, you will know the bread pudding is amazing. Well, if you go to the Tambu Lounge, you can get a serving of the bread pudding with the caramel bananas Foster sauce and the vanilla bean ice cream, and you can get it in a bowl, and you can hug it, you can cuddle it and say it's all mine.
That is a big favorite, and I think even at Kona, which is the restaurant in between, or you're in between that with Tambu Lounge. So if you're going over to Kona, which is a nice restaurant, we like to tell people. I've heard them do that too over there. So there's a little tip for you if you want that bread pudding, which is very famous.
Amazing. It is amazing. I cannot rave about it enough, and it's an ideal place where you can go and get some late night snackage going on with an alcoholic tipple. You know, where could you go wrong? I
really like this tip. If you're talking about all these places, Michelle, I like getting there like 3 o'clock-ish. You know, actually they had, one of the problems they had over at Tambu Lounge was that the wait staff was never there, it seemed like, or they weren't quite ready for us. This time they were, so they seemed prepared. And, someone will wait. They have these big chairs. It's very comfortable to sit over there, and you're right in the lobby, kind of the Polynesian. So, yeah, heavy favorite of ours.
Okay, well, the next place I'm going to take you to on the USA Today list is the Disney's Boardwalk and to the Abracadabra Bar. And this bar is a sort of takes guests back to a bygone era, and it's kind of like a magician's hidey hole, a place where you can sort of go and there's lots of artifacts of magician magicalness, and the drinks have really cute names such as the Parlour Trick or Pepper's Ghost, and obviously being a Haunted Mansion fan, you all know what that is, and it's just a really cute little place to go. This is one that to me feels very grown up and closeted because it's quite a dark environment as well. And I'm going to recommend people go and have a glass of Veuve Clicquot champagne.
I love the boardwalk. I grew up going to Disney World on the boardwalk from conferences that I went to. So I think a lot of people don't even know the boardwalk's even over there, Michelle. I'm a heavy favorite of it. Of course, it sits right into two of my favorite restaurants right now also. So it's a great place to go before you go over to the Flying Fish, which is one of my favorite signature restaurants, if not the favorite of my daughter and I, for sure. And also, I just tried the Italian restaurant right next door, which was wonderful. And you can actually walk right into the Abracadabra Bar from there too. That restaurant, I always forget the name of the restaurant. It's Fortino or something like that. But it's that was really good too. And so, yeah, the boardwalk's a great place to be. And they don't they did some card tricks or some kind of tricks for us, I remember, but it wasn't like heavy, but it definitely the great story going on there with yeah, so definitely good times there.
Yeah, and I think people will see a theme running through a lot of these places and drinks that we're going to talk about, is that a lot of it is the environment as well as the drinks as well as the food that make these places so magical. And
I think they've really done this even just recently. So a lot of these places we're talking about haven't been around all that long, actually. And they all have this story and a vibe and some great things to look at, and the wait staff, of course, is awesome. So they've really stepped up their game in this space. So definitely, if you've not done it, it's something you owe yourself to go do.
Now, the next place on the list is Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar over at Disney Springs. This opened the year before last, and if you love Indiana Jones, then this is the place, because this is themed around Indy's pilot, Jock Lindsay, and this is where he goes to stock up on his alcohol, on his little snacks, and it's just so cool. There's so much aviation memorabilia And the good thing about this place, if you don't want to have an alcoholic beverage, the theming on the drinks is just amazing, because there's one called The Antidote, and that's made with Sprite, maraschino cherry juice, or there's the Teddy's Tea, which is a non-alcoholic green tea with mint and tangerine, and then another one, and this just sounds amazing, and I haven't yet tried it, but I will. It's called the Diving Bell, and it's lemonade, watermelon, and it's got a lemon lime foam on the top. Now, I don't think you can beat better than that. Have you got anything for this place on your list?
Oh, yeah, I do. This one's high. This one's probably my favorite, and my audience talks about Jock Lindsay's all the time now down at New Disney Springs. And it was really cool, Michelle. We took the boat down from Old Key West, and guess where they landed?
It's right by the side.
Right outside of Jock Lindsay. I was like, this is perfect. This is where we're going. Yeah, we're big fans of Jock Lindsay's, and I'm glad you didn't even mention some of the ones I'm going to tell you about. And another place to get souvenir glasses. And the Reggie's of Revenge has a beaker glass that's really nice. It's actually real glass too. And this, I wrote down what it's got in it. It's got sweet and fruity cocktail made of Florida cane, Orlando orange vodka, Midori melon liqueur, white cranberry juice, and fresh lime juice. So that's a really refreshing kind of juice drink. And then the Cool-Headed Monkey. What a great name. And it's got great. I have the mug over here too. I keep something in it. And that is, let's see, chilled rum punch with watermelon and pineapple juice. So that is good. I got to mention too, I love the beers down at Disney World. They have so many choices. I like a IPA recently, Highlight IPA I know I had down there recently. And, Yingling is a beer. It's an old beer from up in Pennsylvania, which I first learned about in Disney World and also in New Jersey on vacation. And now they finally have it in Connecticut, but love to have a nice chilled beer in these places too. The great thing about Jock Lindsay's, it's just got a great vibe. You're near the water. The air flows through there. I don't know. There's something we can't put our finger on, but it's such a great place, Michelle.
Absolutely agree. And if you want something on the side to go with one of those their alcoholic beverages, how about snakebite sliders?
Yep. Yeah.
A trio of sliders with a tomato bacon jam, house-made pickles, shredded lettuce, $12.
Nice. Glad you mentioned that, because these places, these are great places to go for a late lunch or, a light lunch. I know like you like to do now, especially, you can really, they have some great snacks, and there's one there called Air Pirates Pretzels.
That was my next on the list. Have you tried that?
Yes. So last time we were there, we had those, and we had the nachos. They're like this mile-piled high nachos, which is another big favorite of mine in Disney World. And the pretzels come with a German mustard or a beer cheese fondue, the dipping pretzel. So yeah, you can't forget the fun treats that they have at all these lounges too.
Everything we've just mentioned is so beautifully themed to the bar, and I love that.
Yes, it is. And ask the cast members. They'll point out things for you if you don't quite get it. But that one has a boat that sits out there. I like to go out there. The boat actually makes the engine. It's almost as if the engine is going. It starts up every once in a while. And you're looking out. Where you're looking out is right where the boathouse and those amphibious cars are coming in and out. And you're looking at the lake and the boats that are coming from the resorts and like that. So huge favorite. Go there every time I go to Disney World.
Okay, well, the next one's actually inside the theme park, which is quite rare because a lot of them are attached to the hotels, but we'll see about this one. I've not personally been. However, I'm hearing amazing things about the Tune-In Lounge over at Hollywood Studios, and this is next to 50s Primetime Cafe, and the theming continues. It's got like black and white TVs, and they show sitcoms from the era on old style TVs. You can get the full dinner menu in the lounge, but you can also get sort of like little snacky things as well, and desserts. And I'm just saying one word. Well, no, I'm going to extend it to two, but listen carefully. 2 words. Mum's brownie. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, of course, that's a favorite fun place. Yeah, I don't think of the lounge that much, but they definitely have one. You can get the drink before you go into the 50s Primetime, another favorite place for everyone to go for dinner. You can walk up there and get the peanut butter and jelly milkshake too to go. So there's 2 places now that get my attention over Hollywood Studios. for lounges, and that one isn't one of them. So I can't speak to drinks there, except for that I love the milkshakes over there.
Where do you like to go in Hollywood Studios then?
Oh boy. Well, the Brown Derby in the outdoor lounge is a huge favorite of ours. It's epic in my podcast because I've recorded over there and had some fun times. Yeah, I really like the Scotch flight there. It's one of my favorite things to do. The ladies really, especially in my group, love the margarita flight, or there is also a martini flight there. So flights are, the flight thing is really huge in Disney World, but there's it's just the place that you're sitting to, like the Star Wars action is going on kind of right in front of you. And you can watch all that. You can kind of be outside. You can get great eats there too, because you can get that Cobb salad off the menu, which is famous for Brown Derby. You can't talk about lounges without talking about the charcuterie boards and the cheeses and the meats and that kind of stuff. They also have a slider there that's fantastic. So that is a huge, what's really cool that happened to us this time also? I was there with our good friend Holly and her mom. They participate in our podcast a lot. They live in the Florida area and they come to visit us a lot when we're there. But the Streetmosphere characters will walk in, and I had the greatest conversation. I did record it, so it'll probably be coming up in one of my live recordings. And it was one of the gossip reporters from the Streetmosphere. So yeah, big fan of Brown Derby.
I've never actually been in the lounge. I've eaten there. I did the Dine with an Imagineer package a few years back.
Yeah.
And as you say, that Cobb salad is pretty amazing.
Those drinks are famous inside too. So you can get that same flight, the margarita or the martini flight. So yeah, the other one over in Hollywood Studios that I went for the first time, it just recently opened, is the Baseline Tap House. Fantastic addition. There was a book stop area. Remember that, Michelle?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And I couldn't, when people were describing it to me, I couldn't figure out where it was. But if you're at the Star Tours and you're walking away towards like Muppets, it's right there on the right-hand side. And of course, there's a lot of construction behind that area, and the Star Wars stuff is walls are up and that kind of thing. But this is a great area, again, where you have tables outside, and it's California influenced with beers. I think they have like 9 choices for different kinds of beers, and you can get a 4-beer flight. Again, they have a pretzel. They don't have a lot of food there, actually, which I hope they do introduce down the road here. But they have, again, a pretzel with that same kind of mustard and beer cheese fondue. And then they also have a charcuterie board. And I think they have wines also. So, and great acoustic music playing there that I really enjoyed too. So a great addition to Hollywood Studios is the Baseline Tap House.
Okay, we're going to go over to another theme park, and I know this is going to be a place that you will have drinks in. Nomad Lounge, and this is attached to Tiffin's restaurant. And for me, the decor, the sheer exuberance of the space, because it's got such high ceilings and it's amazingly themed. And the story, even in the menus, there's story after story. I just love this place. Come on, Kurt, back me up.
Oh, yeah, everyone is loving the Nomad Lounge. It's right there. It's also, again, a signature restaurant with Tiffin's connected, and it's right as you're going towards the bridge in the new Pandora area. Again, Disney knocked this one out of the park. It's very relaxing, isn't it? It's airy. You have the deck. You can sit out on the deck, which is fantastic. Again, charcuterie boards. My daughter and I had that. And, I can't put my finger on a specific drink there. They have these menus that are themed, or there's a story to them. And so try them all out. I typically I get a beer there. We actually had our first Geekin family meetup there, and I had like 15, 16, 17 people. Michelle, we were just talking, and the time flew by. It was a great place to have a meetup. So anyways, Nomad Lounge. Yeah, big favorite of everyone's right now.
Completely. And I've got 2 things you've got to try and eat if you go there. You've got the house smoked Kobe style beef brisket poutine. And that comes with steak fries, not these little tiny Frenchy fry things, but proper meaty potato fries. And then it comes with house-made mozzarella and a sauce, $12, and it's great for sort of everybody picking in and eating a little bit each.
Yeah.
They do a chicken satay, but a veggie option as well, which comes with a spicy peanut sauce and cucumber salad. And then if you're kind of sort of adventurous, they do something called padka, which has a smoked baba ganoush and black jam, and it's like $10, and it just sounds amazing, and that is going to be on my list when I go back. But curiously, last night I was sort of messaging a few people, and one of our listeners is over there at the moment, Linda Walker, and she messaged and said, Michelle, I found my new favourite drink, and it's in the Nomad Lounge.
Oh, what is it? Yeah.
It's the Anorina Zing. I believe that's the name of it, and it's made up of Bombay Sapphire East gin, passion fruit puree, simple sugar syrup, lime juice, and it's topped up with ginger beer and served with a glowing lotus flower.
So creative, these drinks that they come up. It's kind of cool that different lounges have signature drinks of their own. And I'll tell you, again, here's the tip. You know, it's so hot sometimes in Animal Kingdom. It's like the hottest park they have. You know, about 3 o'clock, we're saying, you know, would I like to be sweating it out here, walking all over Animal Kingdom, or would I like to get over early to the Nomad Lounge? And guess who wins out most of the time now? The Nomad Lounge. Yeah.
It is. If you've not been, please make sure you book in a good hour and a half of your park time. It's such a great place as well. Just by the entry to Pandora, you can just sit and chill and unwind, and then walk through Pandora at night time to get the real best of that theming.
You just read my mind. So that is a great tip to go do that. And if you're still up for it, and you've got a fast pass, of course, at this time, you got to do Flight of Passage. So, yeah, great addition to Animal Kingdom. It's awesome.
Well, I'm taking you back to Disney Springs now.
All right.
I'm taking you to the Raglan Road Irish pub. And you can get Irish classics such as Guinness. And us in the UK, we don't call Guinness a drink. It is basically food in a glass. Because it's a tipple I used to drink quite a lot of is Guinness. Unfortunately, that's probably contributed to the size I was before I had the diet. Because it's so rich and it's beautiful. And the best place to have it is at Raglan Road. You can have a wee dram, or they have Baileys, all native to the beautiful country of Ireland. On a late night dining option, I think you have to go here because they have the most amazing array of food. And there's one, oh my word, Kurt, this is just, your mind's going to be blown over this one. And it's called Gers Bread and Butter Pudding. And I've read the ingredients for this. I'm sure even reading it out, I'll be putting on pounds. Because it's got, are you ready? A pound of sugar, a pound of butter, a pound of bread, some Irish mist whiskey, raisins, and a rich creme anglaise made with heavy cream. It's served with a caramel sauce. It's $9.50. I think that's the perfect way to end the night. And on the side, I'm suggesting you try the Four Provinces Flight. And this has 4 little servings of Guinness, Smithwick's, Harp, and Kilkenny. And they're all different beers that you can have and try and enjoy.
I like that. That is a quite. Yeah, I just put on 10 pounds listening to that. I was trying to do good this weekend, Michelle, but I just blew it, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You know, I love Irish music. I love Irish pubs. Boy, and I unfortunately hadn't gotten there a lot. When my daughter Lindsay was in the college program last year, though, we went over there. She was done with the program. It was her last day. She got out of her room. We went over to Disney Springs, and we did Jock Lindsay's, and then we went over to Raglan Road. And we sat at the bar. They were just kind of opening up. I had one of the Guinness, like a Guinness Blonde or something on tap, which was really good. And I love Guinness beers, too. That's a great flight. My daughter this is really popular now, you probably know, too, is the ciders. And she had this flight of ciders. And they make a cider there that is just unique to the Raglan Road that's made just for them. I think it's the Planted Strawberry, but there's another one called the Lime Hard Cider. So that's a really cool thing to have there, too. But you know what's even better is the entertainment. Oh. We were on our way to go to dinner, and then we saw the entertainment, and then we went back to the Raglan Road because they have the dancing and the music, and I love Irish music. So, yeah, I'm all about Raglan Road. I like to collect beer magnets for my fridge, and with bottle openers on it. And I have a couple of those. I actually have one right here from the little leprechaun. So yeah, love Raglan Road.
So basically that sums up the list that I've got. So I'm going to hand it over now to you with your list.
Wow, I was doing really well there, Michelle. You hit all mine. There wasn't one there that I didn't mention. Want me to give you a couple more?
Sure.
Let's see. Well, in no particular order. Tutto Gusto Italian Pavilion over in Epcot, the wine cellar. Fantastic atmosphere, especially if you want to try it. I'm not a big wine connoisseur, but I like to when I'm on vacation. You got to go with the wine flights. They're really good, and cheese and meat players. And I know you're a dessert person, right, Michelle?
Oh, yeah.
That has fantastic desserts. You know what they did? I was just telling a friend, they did this a few years ago, and I wish they would bring it back. Do you remember this? They did late nights at Epcot. It was after Illuminations, and they did it in several of the pavilions, but Tutto Gusto Wine Cellar had it. It was one of the that was like a no-brainer. We're gonna go do that. It was one price to get the wine flights and champagne and cheese and meat plates, and to get out of Epcot at midnight, it was so cool. And so I really love that place. Even the pavilion, we had a drink outside. You know, all of the pavilions have usually a place where you can sit outside and have a nice drink. So that is a big favorite. And Germany, the Weisskeller was when we met a good friend of ours over there too. And I was surprised. I had never really been in there. But again, you can get apple corn liqueur or, of course, German beers. And they have wines there. That's a good place. Of course, I can't talk to anybody without telling you what my favorite in Epcot is.
Well, I've got it written down in my show notes, and I'm surprised it's taken you this long to get to this, but go ahead.
It's my shtick, and my wife and I have always talked about our amazement of the Mexican pavilion. It's our favorite with the lime frozen margaritas. That it's the best in the entire world. Forget Disney World. It's the consistency. It's the tartness of it. It's got a pop to it too. You only need one, and you're going to walk around World Showcase really happy. I love the Mexican food too. The nachos I always go with. There's people love all the other kinds of things. They just recently opened up another little area where you can get even more kinds of margaritas too. So they've expanded that area. And another inside the restaurant is really beautiful in there. In the pavilion, and La Cava del Tequila is another favorite lounge of ours, and my favorite is the avocado margarita there, made with fresh avocados. It's really creamy and yummy tasty. That is a good one.
I knew you was going to mention them.
Couldn't talk to me without me talking about my lime frozen margaritas. Of course, we always joke about that. I love the Rose and Crown in the UK. I'm not just saying that, Michelle, because you're from the UK, but I love your country over there for sure.
You see, I hate the Rose and Crown.
Why is that?
Because it reminds me of every bad pub I've been brought up into, going as a child with my parents. And they've even got the theming right down to the tables being a bit tacky and smelly of vinegar, and the carpet that's like a Axminster with a really bad theming. And it's just my childhood, going there with my parents for meals, Sunday lunches out and things. I just don't like it. I don't think it shows off English cuisine and food and drinks to the best it possibly could.
Yeah, I've seen some people stumble out of there too. So that's probably the only place I've seen that in Epcot. But I love the pavilion. And so I like the outdoor stand, actually, probably. I always do that and go see the British Revolution bands. I love the bands in that area with the Canadian bands. So getting a Guinness and kind of cruising around there is one of my favorite things to do. Let's see. Do I have any others? Did I cover them all? I think I covered them all.
Okay, that's fantastic. Well, I posted on our Facebook page and asked some of our listeners, and I'm wondering if you've tried any of these as well. So let's have a look. Becky Mannion recommends the Tipsy Ducks in Love from China.
Oh, that's a drink. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. World Showcase, sure.
Paul Tawanicki recommends the Grand Marnier Slush from France.
Oh, yeah, that is, yeah. It's the slushies in Disney World, even the non-alcoholic ones that are great. And that is a great one. They had one, the Frosé, Michelle, they had at the art festival this time, and that was outstanding. They had a little booth there for that. So yeah, don't forget the festivals. They always have fantastic places to get some different kinds of things.
And Paul, having been on a Disney cruise, he says if you're on Castaway Cay, you've got to try the Conch Cooler, and they have like a sort of, this drink's kind of like a pina colada, but it has passion fruit and orange juice, and of course it's going to have rum.
Yes, that sounds good.
This is one from Disneyland Paris, so obviously one that you won't have tried, and this is recommended by Claire Barner, and she said over at Waltz they have a drink called the Sweet Main Street, and it's made of cranberry and apple juice with candy floss syrup, and literally on the top of the glass you have candy floss, and inside is a glowing ice cube.
I gotta love the creativeness, and yeah, I love the glowing ice cubes. Those are great.
Yeah. Another place that we have touched upon in Disney Springs and we haven't quite mentioned is the Boathouse, and Mike Cravanis suggests the Lemon Drop, which even comes served with a rock candy stirrer.
Yes, well, the Lemon Drop, my wife is famous for the Lemon Drop. She gets that. You can get that just about anywhere on property. That bar, I haven't gone over there yet because I'm always at Jock Lindsay's, but if you look right over, that's a great restaurant though. Love to eat there for sure. And they have a bar that sits out into the water a little bit more, so that's a very attractive spot to go to, and I could say that would be a great place to go.
It is, and when I was there in 2016, they have something called a shot ski, and it literally is a water ski with shot glasses glued to the base, and they put a shot in it, and you can decide what shot you want, and then everybody in your party has to tip and sip the shot at the same time. How much fun is that?
That is good. I've got to mention, we did go to a new place in Disney Springs, and it's like a speakeasy. And it's underneath, it's connected. Oh boy, it's brand new too.
Is it Edison?
Yeah, it's underneath the Edison, actually. Enzio's, I think it's called.
Enzio's. I remember seeing you post details about it.
We had great fun in there. We had probably one of the best cast members, really animated, talking with us, and we were like the only ones there. And I think we had a party of 8. There's like writings all over the wall, so a great new addition there in Disney. Can you believe all the stuff they keep opening up? It's just amazing.
It's fantastic. Loving it. Okay, let's go to another one. Good friend of both of our podcasts, Angie Mills. She recommends a Long Island iced tea by the pool at Disney's Animal Kingdom. That's
a good one. Yeah. Of course, we talked about all these deluxe resorts. The atmosphere is so fantastic for relaxing with a drink. And a lot of them have the standard drink menu too. So
okay, I've got 3 more to mention.
Nice.
Joseph Compton says the Godiva White Chocolate Martini.
Yes, I've heard of these chocolate martinis. These are favorites. I've never had one myself. You're a fan of chocolate, aren't you, Michelle?
I am, but I'm not sure if I'd like it with martini. I'd just like the block of chocolate and then the martini. Maybe I'll have to just bite the bullet and try.
Where did you get that one?
I believe that's over in Disneyland.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to penalise him because he's a Disneylander.
Yeah, you can find those in Disney World, I'm sure, too.
Scott from Disney Indiana Podcast used to love ordering the leisure suite from Pleasure Island's bar, 8 Tracks.
Yeah, see, I didn't do a lot of hanging out in the Pleasure Island, although I remember the comedy club. I just walked through there, never stopped in there for drinks. That's when Raglan Road first opened up, and I would head over to Raglan Road, actually.
And I think the last one, I'm going to end on a pinnacle of all amazingness. And this is from Gal Disney, and she recommends the Grand Marnier Ice Cream Martini from Artisan de Glace.
Yeah. Yes, I've heard of this one. Isn't it so creative, these drinks that they come up with? That's awesome.
They're fantastic. And I must admit, if you are into having Disney drinks, going around Epcot is amazing because you can go to the different countries and try out their specialities. If you're a wine drinker, there's such a wide range of wines that you can get. Amazing.
That's, as an adult, the fun is the food and the lounges and the drinks. There is so many things to try. I mean, I've been going for years and years and years, and I still haven't done it all yet. And they keep opening. George's Wine Bar or something is opening up. I'm getting excited about. that's coming. So down in Disney Springs, it's just always something to try and be creative. And yeah, so there's always, it's awesome. Love it.
Fantastic. So my friend, the lovely Reese Collington, is literally listening as he is in Walt Disney World. So I want you to stop what you're doing, Reese, and I want you to hit one of these places and try one of these drinks and send me the picture, okay? Because you promised you would listen while you're in Walt Disney World to find out where you had to get a beverage from.
We always take pictures of our food and drinks and having a good time, send them in our community for sure.
It's the law.
It is. It's a Disney law.
It is. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Would you like to give yourself a big shout out where people can find everything geeking on the internet?
Thank you so much, Michelle. Yeah, we are Geekin on WDW. That's my podcast. I've been doing it with my daughter, and I've got a host of geeks. We call our Geekin family. It's a ton of fun. I love the people in this community. And yeah, Geekin on WDW. You can find us.
Definitely one of the friendliest places in the podcast world.
I'm kind of partial to it, but so are you guys. Love you guys, you and Jane. So thanks for having me on.
You are very, very welcome. So we are going to put a big bow on this show. Sit back now and have a beverage of our own. And if you want to find out more about the Disney Dream Girls, you can find us by searching for Disney Dream Girls and you'll come up with our website. Our Twitter is @DisDreamGirls. We have a Facebook page, Disney Dream Girls, and we're sort of starting to dabble our toe in doing a little bit of Facebook Live, talking about our Disney lives as well. You can tweet Jane direct @JanePhipps. But until next week, it's goodbye from me and Curtis.
Yes, goodbye from me. Thanks for having me, Michelle.